All right, we are at 5:41, so let's get this started. So thank you everyone for joining our first virtual event of the year. This is entitled Apps We Love. It's really about not just, the little apps that are on your phone, but any kind of web app, any kind of technology that's really helped save your life in one way or another. We all are just getting so and so dependent on these things. And it seems like there's new things that everybody's talking about every day. And I just can't keep up. We had an event like this a few years ago. I remember prior to the pandemic. And I think we had 5 or 6 speakers. Like it was definitely much more like curated list of things. But when Heather and I were talking about this event, we're like, you know what? We can't keep up with all this stuff. Let's just hear about as much as we can. Maybe we're not going to get in-depth knowledge about it, but we can research things later. We can talk to each other later, but just having the top stuff, the amazing stuff, just identified and on our radar is half the battle these days. Because you just feel like an idiot when you're that one person who's never heard of that app that everybody's talking about. And so I think it's great that all of you signed up to speak. I think we have over 20 people speaking about apps today. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to hear about all of them. You will have to pick different breakout rooms, but there will be 3 different sessions, and you'll be able to hear about 15 to 20 apps. And at the end, we'll do a recap where you can find out about all of them. Tommy, you have a hand raised. Are you still intending to have your hand raised? Nope. Okay, good. All right. The first thing we want to do is welcome our sponsor. So we cannot put on these events without the help of our sponsors. And what some of you all may not know is we are 100% nonprofit. We don't bring in any, we don't make any profit. Obviously, that's what nonprofit means. Some of our funding comes from our membership dues, and I highly encourage everyone to become a member. Heather will talk about that more later because there are wonderful, wonderful perks. And as we are growing, those perks will become even more and more important as we will have to be limiting events to members only. But we also get a lot of our funding from our sponsors. And these are just, generous organizations in the community that have missions that are in a great alignment with ours. And just so you guys know, we don't accept anybody to be our sponsor. We vet our sponsors and make sure that, they're not just trying to look like they support women in technology. They are actually active partners to help make women more of a normal thing in technology, right? We shouldn't be a minority. We're 50% of the population. We should be 50% of the tech population, at least. So thank you to our sponsor. Is Mukta here to speak about Find Help?
I am. Can you
There
hear
you
me?
go.
Okay.
Okay. So tell us all about Find Help.
All right. Let me see if I can share my screen here.
I do have your slides included in this
Oh,
presentation.
Okay.
Yeah. So I combined the first one. So there you go.
Okay. Well, if you could just go back a couple slides then. Awesome. So thank you for having me, Nicole. And this is my very first time here, and hopefully not the last time. So I want to take a few minutes and share a little bit about myself and share a little bit about Find Help. So my name is Mukta. I am the Chief Technology Officer here at Find Help. We are a technology company headquartered in Austin, and we work in the social care space. Just to share a little bit of my own background and my approach to work. My career in technology started a little over 20 years ago after I completed my master's. I had the opportunity at the time to choose between a software development job or a systems engineering job. And for a variety of reasons, none of which had anything to do with any foresight at all about career paths, I picked systems engineering. And it has informed my thinking and approach to software solutions, even as I lead teams of software engineers and developers today. And what I learned is that for our software and our applications to be successful, they of course need to be functional and user-oriented, but they also need to be robust, meaning they need to be available, performant, secure, scalable. And that is often not the visible and glamorous work, but it is absolutely necessary for success and longevity of any application. In the same vein, for our applications, for our organizations, and society at large to thrive in the age of technology, we need to do the work to ensure equitable representation of women. Nicole, if you could advance a couple slides for me, please. So I believe that when women are part of an organization, their perspectives lead to a more well-rounded solution. Those solutions meet needs of the larger community of users. And I don't have to tell you all the well-known statistics around underrepresentation of women, some of them on the slide here, but I will share an anecdote that serves as an important reminder of this necessary work for me. Several years ago, I attended a technology conference, and it was a very large conference, tens of thousands of attendees. And I noticed that during breaks, the men's bathrooms were crowded, often with long lines, while the women's bathrooms were largely empty. And if you have been to any event, a concert, a fair, or even to the airport, you know that it's usually the women's bathrooms that have long lines. As part of our work here at Find Help, we strive for gender equity. And I look forward to the day when this stark contrast in the tech industry will disappear. And I'm heartened by seeing all of you on here today and engaged in thinking about technology and building your own careers. If you could advance one more slide, please. Our mission at Find Help is to serve all people in need by connecting them to relevant social care programs with dignity and ease. And just as we care about all people in need among our user base, we also strive to create an internal environment that is intentional about equity. Take care is one of our 9 core company values. And through things like active and well-supported employee resource groups and paid parental leave, we strive to take care of each other and make Find Help a technology company where women are well represented and thrive. Through our intentional approach, we are working on changing that lopsided ratio of men and women that I saw at that tech conference. And our numbers, such as 50% of our director and higher level positions being women, is a result of that intentional, though often not glamorous or well understood work, and we remain committed to it. If Find Help or connecting with me is of interest to you, look us up and reach out. I have some contact information on the next slide. And we're in search of talent, so you can find our job listings. There's a link, there's the QR code, and I look forward to hearing from you. And again, thank you for having me here today, and to Austin Women in Tech for hosting this wonderful event.
Thank you so much, Mukta. It was really, really great having you, and we really appreciate it. Okay, but without further ado, we are starting our breakouts a little bit late, so we're going to take this breakout, the first section of breakouts, to 6:15. So how this is going to go, there's going to be 3 25-minute sessions. So each time there's a session, you can pick to go either to room 1 or you can pick to go to room 2. You do not have to return to the room you started in when we start the second or third session. You can go to each one. And Elsie, if you go to the next slide. our first one. Room 1 is going to be entertainment and hobbies. And that's going to be moderated by Nupur. And room 2 is going to be about finances and budgeting. And that's going to be moderated by me. All right, you want to get those started, Elsie? I like your comment, Crystal. Okay, Elsie, do you need anything? Okay. Maybe I can do it. Let participants choose the room. Okay, room 1 is going to be entertainment. And room 2 is going to be finances. Oh, okay. All right, go ahead and join.
Each time, and my bank account transactions pull through that. So when it sees that I dine out at a restaurant, it takes from my dining out tab and it tells me how much money you have remaining. So like Evelyn was saying, when someone comes to town and says, what do you want to grab? Do you want to grab dinner? You can then assign, okay, yes, I'm not going to have groceries from this, and assign that to your eating out category, things like that. But for me, it was really helpful because I was actually able to assign my savings, my charity allocations, things like that. Actually think ahead and take that control. I've always said this, but a man is not a financial plan. And I thought there was so much power in just knowing my finances and really grasping that. And that started with budgeting. So Every Dollar is the app that I am talking about. It's a mobile app. It's a desktop app. Yeah, you can take control. You can automate it from your categories. There's a free version that you can then go in and add your own transactions. There is a pay for version, which essentially connects to your bank account and assigns it all there for you. But yeah, I think there's just power in giving every dollar a name. That is one of them. But about that, one of the things that I was able to do with every dollar is my bank account is a reflection of me and my priorities and really what I value. And something when looking at it, it was like, wow, I value Uber, Amazon Prime, and eating a lot of pizza. And it was like, okay, how can I make my bank account reflect my core values? And one of the things was through my charitable giving. And that's also where I use Charity Miles. So this is an app that connects to your Strava, your iPhone health app, or you can just straight up use it as a tracker. But every mile that you walk, they can then pull from corporations to sponsor or fund those miles to turn them into dollars for a charity that you choose. So for example, my dad has Parkinson's. So I do the Michael J. Fox Foundation. So every mile that I walk, Michael J. Fox Foundation is getting funds for that. There's also options through Charity Dollar, which is also a mobile app and it's a desktop app and it is free. They do walking meetings. So for example, I'm a remote employee, but I have Austin colleagues that live here. We will then go do a walking meeting around Town Lake, both press play on our charity miles. And we're growing funds for our charity while we're having this walking meeting. And then on Fridays, they also do these walking meditations. Because a lot of people like me, I can't sit there and meditate as successfully. I have to move my body. So I'll go on these walking meditations where I listen to it, right? And they're just basically saying that walking is the best thing you can do for your mental health, your physical health, your overall well-being. So why don't we make funds toward charity and giving back in that? So Charity Miles is also a great app.
I love it. Thank you, Heather. And for all of you, I forgot to start recording at the beginning of the session. I apologize, Cynthia and Evelyn. I'm the worst moderator ever. But I know that Heather doesn't mind being recorded, but Coco, I hope you don't mind being recorded either. If you'd prefer I stop recording, just let me know. But Heather, thank you so much for that. And I agree, charities is one of those things that I forget to budget for it. And then I get that renewal notice for the things that I love. And that's part of why I wanted you to talk about that in the session on finances. And that gets into what Coco is going to be talking about, which is Too Good to Go. And she'll talk about what it is, but to me, it's a way to save money by, not only are you saving money by how you're choosing what to eat, but you're also helping other people save and not waste as much. So Coco, floor is yours.
Yeah, so hi, I'm Coco. I'm local in Austin, first time tuning in. Thanks for having me. I love Too Good to Go. Great to see you. Love it too, Heather. I've been using it for about a year now, and I found it through a friend. The way that the app works is basically once you download it, you select what location you're in. You can drop a pin, you can select by city, and set a radius and decide things like what your dietary preferences are and be able to view restaurants or grocery stores or bakeries that really work with your preferences. And what's interesting about the app is that it basically is targeting food waste. So the pitch is something like a third of food gets wasted every day. And restaurants will have food at the end of the day, leftovers basically, that if they kept it one more day, they might have trouble reselling. So instead, they partner with Too Good to Go. They set a price that's like a third of the price, maybe less. It ranges from $3 to $8 at the very high. And you're able to buy all their waste that they want to give you for the day. So they might give you a paper bag full of 10 rolls of cinnamon buns or like 3 loaves of bread, bunch of food that you might not have purchased otherwise. It gives you an opportunity to try out new restaurants in the area or an opportunity to taste food that you might not be able to afford otherwise. So not only are you saving money, but also for those who can't afford to spend money like that, who usually can't experience certain foods, this is a great opportunity to be able to see what's going on in your local neighborhood that you're in. So you save a lot on carbon emissions. I can go on. Carbon emissions, cost of food, you're reducing the food debt, basically. But I really enjoy Too Good to Go. Highly recommend it. It's available in iOS and Android. So I'd say give it a shot and see how you like it.
Thank you so much. I'm typing in what you're saying. Too Good to Go. All right. And I think this would be a great app for moms too, with kids that don't want to eat anything. Cause you're like, I want you to try new things. I don't want to spend $1 million on something that you're just going to tell me is disgusting. But it is good and it's very fun. Question for Evelyn with the YNAB. Is it directly related? Like, is it tied to my bank account or do I have to keep telling it like?
Yeah, you can connect it with your bank account so that it keeps track of your transactions. It takes a couple of days for it to catch up. So if you were doing it like perfectly, like the way they kind of set it up, you'd actually enter your transaction yourself and then match it with the bank transaction. But I don't do that. I just wait till the bank catches up.
Okay, that sounds good. That's really cool. I think that's awesome. Okay, so we have a few minutes. Does anybody have any questions for anyone? Kristen, do you have a question? I don't know. It just popped over to you. I'm not really sure why. What's the coolest thing Coco had from her app so far? Coco, tell us about the awesomest food that you've tried.
So I'm vegan and my food is kind of limited. that's one thing that I wish was an improvement in the app. Like I would love to suggest them some restaurants in the area to partner up with. But the best stuff I've gotten at the app was probably at Casa de Luz, which is a restaurant down southish. And Casa de Luz is already pretty liberal with how much food that they give you when you go. It's kind of you show up, whatever's on the menu is what you're buying. Like you don't really have an option, which is great. You don't have to think about it.
Mhm.
And when they do their Too Good to Go, I bought like one portion of it for $4 and I got 2 or 3 boxes worth of food. So for me, I don't have a lot of time to cook after work. I'm tired. And so that lasted me basically the whole week and it was great.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I really do need to try. I need to try that one. Okay. And then Heather, what's the farthest you've walked? Like, what's the most money you've raised?
That's a good one. Well, one time, oh my gosh. Okay, this is an embarrassing story, but we're gonna do it anyways. I was going on a date. I was on this blind date, and
Oh,
I
you were
told
running away? Just kidding.
yeah, I told this guy we were going on like a blind date. We were getting set up, and we ended up walking the entire Lady Bird Lake Trail, so like 13 miles. And I remember thinking, like, dear God, I do not want to go out with this guy ever again. But I thought about how I was like, but look at all this money I raised for charity. But it's really cool. There's this woman, oh my gosh, I should look up this stat. But it's this like awesome 60-year-old woman who literally said I think she tries to walk, she's walked in all 50 states on charity miles. And that was like her goal, was to like walk in all 50 states. And she's just like killing it. So I'll have to find an article about it. But
Oh, do you know who you should hook up with? She Can Try.
yeah,
Ladies, right?
good idea.
Because anybody who's doing that, yeah, that would be amazing.
What
Okay.
is that? What's She Can Try?
Oh, She Can Try. So this woman, Jackie Faye, spoke at one of our events last year. And what it is She Can Try is TRI, like triathlon. And so she trains women in impoverished nations or that are struggling through something to become triathletes and helps them become sponsored to race all over the world. And so she it's just these unbelievable stories of an Afghani woman that became like the first triathlete from Afghanistan. And she emailed us the other day. Heather, do you remember what country she's going to? Is it Kenya right now?
Yeah. And I posted in the Slack channel for AWT members, but yeah, it's really helping women through like equity through athleticism, essentially, and empowering women through sport.
Yeah, and she has a clothing company called 1 January, and it's all made from recycled materials. It's athletic gear. Beautiful things that I can't afford, but but really, really, really cool. So, Wonder Walk. Yeah, we should totally do Wonder Walks. I love that idea. With all the wine I drink at our events, I think that I need to have a charity wines. I would make more money that way. For every sip, somebody gets $1. Yeah. All right. Okay, you guys. So I think we're doing awesome. I think it's time to return to our main session and get going back to session or to the lobby. And so we can get kicking off session 2.
Hello,
you,
we
guys.
have 1 minute until session 1 ends. Thank you.
Okay, we have 1 more minute. We can chat here or we can go back there.
I know. Is there anything else that people use finances or fitness? I mean, this is finances and
Like charity kind of stuff.
Charity.
Heather, I was gonna mention, I use TriCount with my part with Surreal. Like for any expenses that we incur as a couple, we put everything in TriCount. We are very much 50-50 on all our finances, from our rent or utilities to going out to dinner, our groceries, everything is put into this TriCount. So we never argue about finances. So if I were to ever give that advice to anybody, if they are in that kind of space, that's how I I think it's one of the best apps, and it's such a relationship saver, like in many ways.
Awesome. Thank you, Taryn. Taryn's our membership director. She's fantastic.
Oh, thanks, girl. You too.
Oh, thanks. All right. All right. Is everyone back, Elsie? Yeah. You're muted. Okay. Awesome. Okay. So next we have session 2, and you can go to room 1 for mental health and wellness, or you can go to room 2 for schedulings and to-dos. So either you can try and become more calm, or you can try and become more busy. Kid. Okay. All right, Elsie, let us know when those are ready.
All right. Hey, everybody. My name is Max McKinney. I'm a designer at Figma. I've been in product design for a long time now. But I'll be talking about a tool that is near and dear to my heart called Notion. Notion, as they put it, is this kind of combination of like Wikipedia, documentation, project management, to do. It's a bit of everything, but it's one that we use quite a bit. One that I use in my personal life a lot. So I thought it'd be fun to walk through a few use cases because it's kind of broad. I figure I'd paint some broad paint strokes, and if we have questions, we could maybe spend some time on those. But kind of the first thing up that I think people who have heard of Notion are more familiar with is for this documentation experience. It's a great writing tool if you've used Google Docs, or you've used Dropbox Paper, or kind of any similar platform where people can write in the same experience together. That kind of applies here in Notion as well. Different use cases that I've seen either here where I work or just in my personal life be things like using it to write project requirements, meeting notes, or like system documentation. There's many different ways you can implement either structure to pages. You've got lots of different things you can include in those pages. So code snippets, images and videos. If you're into math, you can put math equations in there and write things that I don't even understand, as well as like lots of other different content types, including integrations with other software. So if you use Figma or you use, GitHub, these other tools, they have integrations that you can provide all in line into one document, all one nice and easy place to work through your content. At work, where I'm at Figma, we use it primarily as like a Wikipedia type experience. Our company's small enough where we're able to kind of organize the mass amounts of information that otherwise would live on, Drive or Dropbox, and tribal knowledge where John Smith knows this information and someone else knows something else, and it's very hard to keep track of everything. And we use it as a way to put in like HR resources, vacation things, events that are happening, information on different locations, and it's a great tool both for like company, but also personally. I use that to organize kind of like our family needs, car maintenance, dog information for our pets, like when's the last time they've gotten shots and what's happened with them. And it's just a nice way of organizing of all this information in one place, and it's very easy to kind of search and find that. For more like work centric opportunities, there's lots of different kind of project planning opportunities with how data can be presented. There's kind of Kanban style boards or timeline views of tasks. And all of these things use all of the previous mentioned tools with Wikipedia experiences and documentation writing, all to kind of facilitate project planning. But it's also, again, really helpful for working on your own needs, trying to figure out, what kind of house project you're working on or when things need to get done, and sharing it with friends and family so you're all kind of on the same page for what's happening. The last thing I'll talk about is kind of a more recent development that they've put out, which is this AI experience for the writing bits of Notion. So if you're doing any of the things I mentioned, project planning, or you're writing a how-to thing, or you're working on just documenting how a vet visit went for one of your animals, any of those things, this AI tool kind of allows you to ask this bot, it's in your document, like, hey, can you summarize these meeting notes? Or hey, can you rephrase what I wrote so it's it's more official sounding, or maybe you could help explain something that I found online, and it can autofill in your writing. It can add tables for you automatically. I know we have a Chat GPT session coming up, so this will have some relation with that down the road. I don't know what they're doing behind the scenes, but it's a very similar type experience where you ask it, you give it a prompt, and it does some crazy magic for you. For individuals, it's free. They've increased the license stuff, so you can do, I think, up to like 10 people can collaborate on things together. So friends or family, it's a great way to get everyone on board and organized all in one place. And that's it. I'll pause for questions, but tried to get through a bunch of slides in a way that was hopefully consumable
Yeah.
for you guys.
No, that was great. And there is a question for you in the chat. And if you wouldn't mind just answering in the chat so we can get to the next speaker.
Perfect. Will do.
That'd be amazing. I think someone has a similar app that they want to talk about. Sharmila, talk about notability. Is Sharmila here? No, maybe she couldn't make it at the end of the day. Or we can try and come back if she does. Well, let's do something else to keep us organized and getting lots of people collaborating together, or at least two important people collaborating together. That would be parents of children. Marina, do you want to talk to us about Huckleberry?
Definitely, for sure. I thought you were going to talk about a work app when you said several people collaborating, and then you moved into two, which is also equally important. Everyone, my name is Marina, and I'm going to be talking about Huckleberry. When asked about an app that really is crucial to our day-to-day, that was the first one that came to mind. Leslie asked, I work at UT Austin over there with Leslie, and she asked a couple members on our teams if someone was willing to talk about an app that changed our lives. And I just wrote back enthusiastically about Huckleberry because my husband and I have a 6-month-old son. He is our first baby. And we have been using this app every single day for numerous things. So I recommend it to all parents. It's essentially a tracking app for all of you might be hearing my greyhound bark. I'm so sorry, someone left a package. But anyway, so it's a tracking app that allows us to record all of his basic needs. So we have his feedings, his sleep, my pumping, because I'm breastfeeding at this time, and I'm back at work. Solids, now that he's venturing into solid foods, his diaper changes, any medicine, temperature, growth, stats after our doctor's visits. Our pediatrician loves us because we pull up our app and we have every last detail that they could ever want about our kid. And this week he started daycare. And so when we pick him up, we're able to kind of input that information. We're able to let them know what his day-to-day routine looks like. And we're able to identify if things are changing or if there is a difference in his feeding, his changing, what's going on as he's growing developmentally. And at this time, when we are both back at work and we have so much going on, it's impossible for us to stay on top of all of these things. Especially as a new parent, it's so important to just be able to put it in, forget about it, and then focus all of our remaining mental energy on actually spending quality time with our son. And obviously, I'm not going to be tracking what he does forever. It's not like he's going to high school. I'm still going to be writing down what he ate every day. But for now, it's such a big crutch for us in that we're able to, like I said, look at what he's doing, put it in, and then also share responsibilities. The mental load of even having to wake up in the morning and see how many times he needed to receive another bottle overnight or how many wake ups he had. All of this information, I'm able to just look at the app and see what Joe put in, my husband, rather than wake him up and ask him to catch me up. Or at the end of the workday, when I step in and take over so he can get a break for a little bit, I don't need him to catch me up. I can just seamlessly step right in. And so that's been really essential for us. And I think that in general, we tend to use it pretty often. It's really cool in that it is free to use. So you can check it out. You can try it if you have kids, or you can recommend it to people that do. And then it also has a nap feature, which is the paid version, but that's how they get those really sleep deprived parents to pay anything to like jump in and be like, okay, just give me that sweet spot. That's literally what it's called. What is a sweet spot for your child, to put them down for a nap. We haven't succumbed to that just yet. And so I love this app, the free version in itself. But based on last night, I might be trying out the sweet spot nap feature as well. Anyways, it might not be applicable to everybody in this group right now, but it's really applicable to my life right now because, you know, I work full time, I work from home. So I'm really lucky in that my schedule is pretty flexible. But as a parent to a young infant, this is so necessary for me to be able to keep track of everything and for us to be able to focus, like I said, on spending quality time with our kid and being able to use the free time that we have on things that are really important versus trying to remember the last time we, you know, changed his diaper or what needs to be done. So anyways, that's the app that I use pretty often, and that's the app that I really recommend at this stage of life. I've already got one of my closest friends at work returned from mat leave, and her partner use Huckleberry. So, and I've got a couple of friends that are pregnant that are all already checking out the feature. So I'm basically just its sponsor at this point. But anyways, that's the app that has been really invaluable to us at this time. So Huckleberry, check it out if you are interested.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for talking about that. Having raised a couple kids that are now teenage monsters, I can tell you that would have been a lifesaver. I mean, if one thing, just the amount that you exaggerate when you're talking to your doctor about how much they actually pooped, even though you're like, it really wasn't that much. But and so many things that the doctors want you to keep track of, and you're like, there's no way I'm gonna remember all of that. And then as they get older, I mean, just keeping track of their medications, their vaccination schedules, their all sorts of things. Like, people have no idea how much parents are supposed to just have at their fingertips all the time. And I could see this being helpful as you get older, if you have aging parents, maybe helping that way as well. For those of us who are in that sandwich generation, have people to take care of on both sides. Okay. Next, something that I have really wanted to hear about, because I do a lot of project management in my job and I'm trying to find good tools, talking about sharing responsibilities. Catherine, can you please tell us about Smartsheet?
Yes, absolutely, Nicole. Thank you. Well, I came to the right group with Longhorns, and Max, you talking about project management for your dog. You just saw my dog. I'll get to that in a second. But I am truly a champion of Smartsheet. Since my very first professional job, I was up at night thinking we need to work smarter, not harder, static files, just headache upon headache. And so in my mind, I like to collaborate. I want everything streamlined, and I discovered Smartsheet about 10 years ago, and it's definitely had several evolutions, but I can safely say that my dream came true, that it has permeated across campus. So Marina, Leslie, I don't know if it's gotten to y'all yet, but it took a year and a half of burnt orange tape. But it is basically Excel and Google Docs on steroids. I like to use the acronym. It's fun, it's functional. I'm going to share my screen just to give you a visual of some of the projects that I use in my role as business development manager. So I created up a dashboard for our team, just a lot like Max and Notion, the main websites that we go to, our roles, thinking about an onboarding situation. If a new person were to join our team, this is what they need to know. The next one, this is where magic happens. So if you have a grid sheet view here, you can turn it into a Gantt chart. This might not be the best example, but another view is this Excel or grid view turns into a calendar automatically. You can overlay it in your Gmail or Outlook calendars. So, and it updates real time. If you change anything, it can update real time. Let's see the other examples. So again, the Google Doc form just on steroids. And I have some other examples just quickly, don't want to show you. Just for processes, forms, things like that. I managed our group of students who volunteered at South by. I'll stop sharing there, but basically you can add attachments here, and the second part being user-friendly. It's very similar to Microsoft Office. So all of the things here with the standard projects, as well as over here, you can add attachments and comment. It integrates with things like Teams, Salesforce. So everything is housed in one area. And that's just a small overview, but I've also used it personally to keep track of when I got my puppy Kira for vaccinations, when she was able to walk in the grass. It's a little crazy, I know, but not quite a mom, but I use it for even events and vacations. It transfers all of the Excel formulas, and you can import documents where it doesn't change anything. So, dog project management, yes. So all of that to say, it's smart, it makes work fun, and it makes life easier for everyone on your team. You can get automatic alerts and reminders. So I think I covered about everything. I don't know how much time I have left, but happy to answer any questions. Hopefully I covered anything that y'all might be curious about. And it makes dreams come true. So if you want to use it in your job, you can make your boss's life easier, your team work easier. So yes.
No, that's great. Thank you so much. And if people have questions, type them into the chat. Hopefully at the end, we'll have time to come back around. We are short of speakers, so hopefully that'll be good. Another app that I actually use quite a bit because I have a bajillion different email addresses is Calendly. Amanda, will you tell us how Calendly works and why it's important?
I will. Let me share my screen real quick.
Okay.
Yeah. Hold on. Gotta update my preferences. I don't use Zoom, so maybe it won't let me do it quick enough, but I was gonna share my screen and show you guys, but I can drop a link to what the public view is in the chat. So I do the paid version of Calendly, and essentially it links to my calendar. I like it. So Outlook has a feature where you can have people get access to your calendar to book meetings, but Calendly takes that a step further because I can create multiple meeting types. And I guess I should preface this with that I'm a tech recruiter. So I meet with a lot of different people doing different things. And so if you look at the link, it'll show you like I have a coffee chat set up for like if I'm just meeting with someone just to chat. If I'm meeting with like an old colleague or an old candidate or prospect to catch up, like there's that meeting type. And then you'll notice the help one person every day, which is like a motto of our company. And so being that we want to help one person every day, like when I send that link out, I don't want my entire day taken up with that because I do need to do my job and deliver prospects for my clients. So you can restrict the meeting type to certain hours. You can restrict it to certain like how many recurrences you can do in a day. And then there's a great automation feature too, where you can send thank you emails. You can send reminders to the meeting and all like to the person you're meeting with as long and to yourself. I know it has like the enterprise use where you can collaborate calendars, but I have not used it for that functionality. Okay, any
I have
questions?
done that, and it is great because like I'm on my company's email. 2 different clients of mine, I have email at their company, and I have like AWT email for being on the board. And so whenever people are like, when can you meet? I'm like, honestly, like, I don't even know. Just look at my calendar.
Saves all back and forth.
Yeah, and it'll
Literally
tell you when I have
saves all
openings.
back and forth.
Yeah, and it's great because you don't have to worry about like the privacy. You know what I mean? Like to know, oh, I have a meeting with this person. You know what I mean? You're not sharing like too much about it. It just says when I'm free. Yeah, it's great.
I would say, to answer the question just really quickly, maybe 1 in 100 doesn't want to go to my Calendly link. Like it's very rare that someone doesn't want to go to the Calendly link. It probably helps that I recruit in tech, so people are already used to using tech.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, my people have mostly learned if it's not on my calendar, the meeting
It's not
doesn't
happening.
exist. It's not happening. So you better get on there. It fills up fast. That's awesome. Catherine, one question I had for you about smart sheets is one sheet a project? And if so, can I make a dashboard that talks about multiple projects in one? Like
Absolutely. Yes, definitely, Nicole. And you can also create what's called reports. So if you have multiple sheets for, say, communications, right? For AWT, your 2 other jobs that you mentioned, and say, I'm just giving an example of your personal dashboard. You can pull all of those communication calendars into one report and put it on your personal dashboard. So that would be an example.
That's great. Yeah, because so many of the project management tools that I've looked into, they do great analytics at a per project level. But for that kind of high level, the PMO level, when I'm trying to see across my whole org, how's it doing? It's very, very difficult to do that. Can you do summaries in sheet?
They even have a sheet summary. Oh, sorry.
Give me a call. I set up all the resource planning and project costs for Whole Foods Technology and did the summaries and whatnot.
The sheet summaries. There's so many functionalities, and anytime I think of something smart sheet, by the time I think of it, they've already integrated it. It's an answer to all prayers that were heard in a meeting. So
awesome. I know so many people in my demographic, at least, want to do everything in Excel. So if it has the look and feel of Excel, it's like, ta-da, you're good.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's not intimidating, right? It's not something completely new and foreign. It's user-friendly where anyone can be comfortable with it. I think that's in change management. That's really important too. If you're going to roll it out, or my experience at least, that's really key.
That's great. Yeah, we should have 1 or 2 more minutes. Does anybody else have a question? The terrible Dropbox version of Excel. Thanks. Jackie's question is great. Yeah, Max, I wanted to thank you for doing yours. I've heard a lot of great things about Notion. I'm finding it a little bit intimidating. Is it kind of like a wiki that does a million things? Like it almost feels so monolithic.
Yeah, that's why I encourage people to start with like document things in your life, document like organize things, and then expand on features from there. They've got a great like YouTube channel that will walk you through features. It does get complicated. Like I've built some things where it's like I've got a shortcut on my phone that I can like log events that occur, which then goes to like an API thing, and then that goes to a Notion table, and their tables are really fancy. But it's just you can do so much with it. But don't be afraid to start small.
Yeah, no, Kathleen's asking, is it like Confluence that comes with the Atlassian project products? It seems like
I think it's
closer.
Yeah, I think it's like the way I would describe it is it's like if Google Docs and like project management tools got together.
Yeah, like Jira and Confluence in one thing.
Then what then complicates it is then they have these tables, which are like full on databases. which then that gets into like a whole thing of like linking databases and using their API to like talk to stuff so you can store information, you can
Right.
cross-reference it, reminders are built into stuff. It's like it's like a whole
And
thing.
it looks pretty, and you get to make it look pretty too, which is amazing. Awesome. Thank you so much. And I always thought Figma was a big company. You guys are not a big company?
We're like 1,000 people now.
Okay.
We're on our way. Yeah.
Okay.
I joined at like 400, so it still feels a little small to me, but
Okay.
I came from big tech, so this is small to me.
I gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, and I'm like, Figma. I know Figma. Okay. Does anybody else have any questions?
No, I'm just looking at like now I just got my team on OneNote. Now I'm thinking I need to replace OneNote with Notion.
Maybe. How do you think it compares to OneNote?
I would say if you're a team, like we still have success with it at our company size and it works really well. Pages and everything have, sharing features built in so you can make things private or links only last so long. It's great to just quickly get in there and, it's infinite pages. So it's not like Google Docs where they're like 8.5 by 11, it just infinitely scrolls. So if you want like a distraction free environment, just to like write ideas down, it works well. And then the search is really powerful, which is the main thing I find it useful for is like company information.
Mhm.
I hate big tech intranet solutions for like company, company info. And this is much easier to like get on there and find stuff.
Oh, good question. Can we use it offline?
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so
I
either.
think it's all cloud-based.
Yeah. And I was going to ask you something else that I was thinking. Now I forgot. Thanks, Cynthia. Just kidding. Made me forget my question. Oh, you guys aren't a Microsoft shop though. Like, does it integrate with Teams and things like that? It's like, I don't.
There's a ton of integrations. They're not attached to any company directly. Notion isn't. So there's lots of like third-party integrations. Silicon Valley companies all like to collaborate together. So there's like Figma to Notion, Notion to whatever else, and all around. But also big, Microsoft, the Dropbox, the other people have integrations for Notion and vice versa. So there's lots of, if you need something for a popular tool, there's probably some kind of implementation. And if not, you can just embed web pages as iframes into the documents. So like if you want to just show something, it's awesome for organizing things that you found, and you just can embed things and interact with them all in like one area.
I don't know if many tools are offline usable. Or yeah, because most things nowadays, they are cloud-based or they need to sync. Or even if you use it offline, you'll have to come back and sync at some point.
Yeah, that's the era we live in, unfortunately.
I remember, what about version control? I know that's something that we struggle with when we try to convert from things to wikis, is sometimes we lose that. And like a lot of times, like in Teams, when we use OneNote versus a wiki, if you delete your wiki page, it's gone forever.
So there is full like tracking version control for like Max wrote this, Max deleted this, and you can even get like little analytics for like what changed on the page by who and how often. And if you pay for like the bigger enterprise stuff, you can get more history, but it does have a built-in control, so you can see like who's doing what and catch that person who's like, oh no, I definitely didn't change that.
It wasn't me.
That's with our Miro board every morning.
Right. Yeah, that there should be like the shame board. Who had the most deletion? Okay, we have 30 seconds. Who has last question? Anybody want to ask anything? Okay, I really appreciate all of you guys. This was a great talk, and I am sorry that one of our speakers was a no-show. She was going to talk about notability. Maybe next time. All right, thanks you guys. I'll see you in the lobby.
I want to go and pay the monthly and the premium. And so
start the recording. All right. So our next speaker is Megan Murray, and she will be talking about Down Dog meditation app. Megan, all yours.
Hey, I'm actually gonna throw a link in the chat. So I use Down Dog. Well, forgive me. First time having COVID in 3 years. So if I'm a little off, that is why. Let me put the link here in the chat. So Down Dog, I use it for meditation. I heard the last session I was in, if you were in the one that Heather was in yesterday, she was talking an app that she uses for like walking charity. So what I really got into Down Dog with was for a yoga app, because back like pre-pandemic, I was, traveling a lot. And so I really wanted on-demand yoga that was customizable if I only had 15 minutes, but I just wanted to stretch instead of do a whole big hour-long class off of YouTube or something. So that's how I found out about Down Dog, and that was really where they started. And now if you go to the link, you see that they've really expanded their brand to all kinds of different things. So there's a yoga, they're all different apps, but they're all under the Down Dog brand. So it's this cute little dog, that's working out. It's just cute. So they've got yoga, HIIT, running, bar, and even prenatal yoga, and all of them are pretty much the exact same concept, where you can go in, you can pick how many minutes you want to work out, what style you want to do, and if you want a certain focus on one thing or another. So the meditation though one really was something that I wasn't familiar with before, was this concept of walking meditation. So to hear Heather talk about it in the previous session, I was like, oh, but I've really found Down Dog to be super valuable for me for walking meditations, because it has guided prompts, and same as the other Down Dog apps, you can customize how many minutes you have. So I'll set it for 15 minutes, which is about the time it takes me to walk my dog. And I'll pick a theme of something that I need right then. So it might be reduce stress or work productivity or things like that. And it's just been a really calming thing that I can just do any time of the day. And it's not just walking meditation. That's just what I find that works really well for me. But there's seated meditation. There's, if you're looking for some sort of more of a yoga nidra sort of practice, then it's in there too. So it's different types of meditation. Highly recommend looking at it, just because it's not what we typically see in a meditation class, where you're sitting and maybe you have some yin yoga props with you. It just really emphasizes that there's different types of meditation, and you just have to find one that works for you. And as a pretty active person, using Down Dog to have something as like more of a guided breath and remind myself to do these things while I'm walking really does help break up the workday. And you can also keep yourself honest, because it tracks when you do it. So you can go back and look at your calendar and say, oh wow, I haven't done it in a while. So anyway, highly recommend. It's a great app, not just meditation, but if any of those others are interesting to you, highly recommend. They're all great, and the animations are awesome too.
Thanks, Megan. That was amazing. I thought that we're going to do a downward dog position and then do the meditation by the name of the app. That thought crossed my mind.
Yeah.
But thank you for introducing us to walking meditation. I've never done walking meditation. I always sat in place, so I'll definitely try it.
Yeah, it's a great practice.
Yeah, thank you so much. You're sick and you still chose to share your knowledge with us, so thank you for doing that.
It's nice to talk to people. I don't know when I'll be leaving the house next.
All right. So our next speaker is Jessica Patterson, and she'll be talking about 5 minutes. Okay,
yes. Yes, can you hear me fine?
Yes.
Perfect. And how much time do I have? 3 minutes?
3 to 4 minutes. You'll see a green at 3.
Okay, wonderful. Perfect. Thanks, everyone. I'm Jessica Patterson. It's relevant that I'm speaking about gratitude, and we've been talking about yoga because I am a 500-hour certified yoga and meditation instructor. I've done that work for almost a decade now. I've worked in technology, specifically cybersecurity, and then now for Accenture in change management and training. So I love people development. I love right? Connecting the dots. And I actually used to teach prenatal yoga here in Austin as well. So many connectors. But what I find is a really big challenge is gratitude. And I think that especially as women or high achievers, and especially technologists, it's difficult to feel grateful. We can think it, we can create a list of gratitude, but actually feeling grateful and pausing to reflect on what we're grateful for is a challenge. And so one of the app that I'll be speaking of is by Intelligent Change. It is called 5-Minute Journal. There is a hard copy version, but for me being on the go, I don't want to carry anything else but my device. So this is what the app looks like. It's called 5-Minute Journal. I have an automated reminder every morning at 8 a.m. before I start the workday to focus on gratitude. And what I enjoy about it most is that, of course, it gives you a quote. There's also some meditations embedded in the app. And then you start with, what are you grateful for? What are 3 things? And then how is your mood? They also have it where you can see your mood over time, which I find really interesting for those of you who love data like me and storytelling, right? So you can see in the chart, even though it's small, right, how your mood is over time or how your mood was this week. This just allows you to get really flat with, how did I feel? What impacted that? And how can I continue to feel better? And then they also have mindful journaling. And you close out the morning meditation with, what are 3 things I'm going to do today to make it great? And then you can reflect on the evening as well, which there's another automated reminder to recap. And of course, you fill out tiny rings here at the bottom, which is fun. Again, for all of you achievers from a UX perspective, it's really interesting. And you also get a gallery of things that you may not have seen before, right? You can also post pictures or add pictures to your day, and then like Facebook or other platforms get to see your memories. So, right, 5 months ago, you were grateful for being in this location and doing, what you were doing there. So that's what I'm sharing about is 5-Minute Journal. I think it's the most efficient, impactful, and it helps me not only think about gratitude, but actually pause to feel grateful. And I find that whenever we start change management or behavioral change, right, mindset work through yoga, meditation, etc., that's starting our day with gratitude and allowing ourselves to really feel into the experience allows us to be more present and therefore more impactful in creating change. And you can find me on LinkedIn, Jessica Valentine Patterson.
Thank you, Jessica. I'm definitely giving this a shot because I'm myself a big journaling fan, and I hope others can find it useful as well. And our next one is Jillian Albus. How I Feel, the app name is. Jillian, did I say your name correctly, Jillian? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes.
Okay, all right. All right, floor is yours.
Thank you. I'm a new face around here. My name is Jillian Albus, and I'm a student at UT studying neuroscience and entrepreneurship. And I got connected to this organization through the Kendra Scott Women's Entrepreneurial Leadership Institute here at UT. So thank you. So I hope to be further involved from here on out. But the app that I am talking about is actually called How We Feel. It was started from a project that was created during the height of the pandemic by some professors at Harvard and MIT. And it started out as a survey that was delivered to study the emotional well-being of people during the pandemic. And I found this app while scrolling through just Apple's list of top well-being apps for the beginning of 2023. And it stemmed from a conversation that I had with a friend talking about the different types of well-being, financial, there's physical, et cetera, et cetera. Emotional well-being, though, was the one that I felt the least confident in the work I'd been doing in. I felt like I was addressing the other forms of well-being, but emotional was lacking. So with all of these buzzwords and just emotional words being thrown around during the pandemic, just because of everybody's heightened awareness about emotions and I was becoming more confused about what emotions are and specifically how do I address them, and felt that the terms being used for them were a bit ambiguous and hard to pinpoint in my daily life. So I found this app. It's a free journal available to everyone on iOS devices and Android, I believe. And it was created actually by the co-founder of Pinterest in connection with the ones who started the survey during the pandemic. But it's got a few different features, and it starts off by allowing you to pinpoint what emotion you're feeling in the moment. And you don't have to label it right away. It helps you pare down exactly what you're feeling based off of a few different categories to make the emotion itself a bit more tangible and understandable. So you pare it down, you find the label for it, and then you can talk about how you came to be feeling that emotion in the moment, where you were, who you were with, how much sleep you've been having, how much meditation time you've been doing, things like that. And so you can develop patterns over time based off of these different categories, these different factors that contribute to your emotional well-being in the moment. So over time, I've noticed patterns, particularly in relationship to sleep. As a student, I'm sure y'all can still relate, but as a student, studying all night and then going into a test the next day is particularly stressful, and I don't feel as prepared going into it. Of course, I've spent all the night studying and everything, but going into it, I feel particularly more anxious than if I had just taken the time to rest instead. So I've noticed patterns like that pop up, and I've also kind of had formed a better relationship with emotional well-being. Being in the STEM world, it's a little bit difficult to talk about emotions, particularly being surrounded by men in a lot of different fields. It's seen as a weakness oftentimes. And so I found it very empowering to be able to better understand my emotional well-being and apply labels to it and understand exactly how it affects me in daily life, and thus tailor my actions towards what I'm feeling in the moment. So highly recommend. Thank you.
Thanks, Julian. That was wonderful. So does it come under emotional management category, or does it come under journaling? Like where would you classify this app in?
Both, actually.
Both. Okay. So it asks you questions and you follow through the questionnaire to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yep. Awesome. Awesome. Looking forward to play with it then. All right. And I'm going to invite our next speaker, Carrie Wenston, and Carrie will be talking about Think Up. It's an affirmations app. Carrie, are you ready? You're mute, Carrie.
I guess I'm not ready.
All right.
Now I'm ready. Yeah, I'm Carrie Vanston, and I help senior executives, business owners, and their teams that are wanting to be more effective and make a bigger impact in their businesses and their lives. And one way I unlock their full potential is by shifting their fixed mindsets to more positive growth mindsets. And it's kind of the way it kind of works is you have a thought, which leads to an emotion, which leads to an action. If your thought is negative, then it'll lead to more negative and then to a more negative emotion and thought. So like, for example, if you think, oh my gosh, this app doesn't sound like it's going to work for me at all, then your emotion is going to probably be more, this is a waste of my time. And then your action is going to be, you're probably looking at email right now. But if you have the thought, oh gosh, this might be a good app for me, open to it, then your emotion is more curiosity and enthusiasm, and then your action might be to download this and really make a big difference in your life. So how do you change that thought in an intentional way? And that's what affirmations can help you with. Affirmations are statements and positive statements that rewire our brain by regularly repeating an affirmation that can take the place of the negative thoughts that are holding us back. In the case of the app, it might be, I'm open to new ideas to raise my effectiveness, replaces apps never work for me. So with that in mind, how do you practice this affirmations? Well, one way that I found that really works great for me and for my clients and my audiences is the Think Up app. And this is what it looks like. And basically you have a practice, record, browse more. And on the record there, you have 3 different times that you can do your affirmations. So there's 3 10-second affirmations that you can put in there. Well, what I found is you can put about 4 affirmations if you talk really fast during your 10 seconds. And so you can actually have more like 12 affirmations. So you write them in. See, here's 1 10-second one here. And then if you have if you want to change them and add more, you don't lose the ones at the bottom. So these are the ones that I have right now. I record them right there, and then you record them. So you have 4 of those. And now I'll show you what it looks like. So this is the ones that I actually have. And so each morning while I'm getting ready, I play my affirmations.
At a reasonable time and wake up refreshed. I have all the time I need and more. I am more than enough to make the right choices on where to focus my attention. I focus on my wins and I'm confident and thriving in business and life.
So that's my 4. So, I've got 3 of those for about 12 each. So it really, really works great. And there's other, if you're premium, that's free. If you're premium, there's all sorts of other things that go with it. But yeah, I found it great. I give it to my clients. I really encourage them to use it. If you have any more questions on it, feel free to reach out to me. Follow up with Carrie, CARRIE.com. I'd love to talk to you about it. But I appreciate the opportunity to share that. And I'll put my information in the chat room too.
All right, thank you so much, Carrie. And with that, we have all the speakers finished and we have a couple of minutes. We have 6 minutes to ask questions. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask any of the speakers. You can raise your hand.
What was the name of your app again?
Think Up.
Like think, THINK?
Yes, Think Up. And if you saw, I have thousands. I've had it for 4 or 5 years, so I have thousands of them.
I have a question for Carrie. Carrie, I'm really interested in this app. I'm wondering, how would you track progress? Like, how do you see, from a coaching perspective, if I can say that, hey, this is really working for that person. What would be a way that I could see if it's working for me?
Well, toward the beginning of when I'm coaching somebody, I go through a couple of exercises where they come up with affirmations. They come up with information, and then we make those into positive affirmations to change the way they're thinking. And then as time goes by, if they have more, if something comes up and we come up with a positive affirmation around that, and other coaching too, but the affirmation comes out of that, then I ask them to add that to the affirmation, their foundational affirmations. And so over time, you'll also be doing it on your own. Some things that I have, pushed down to the bottom aren't really relevant anymore. So I've come up with new things, and I encourage my clients and my audiences to do the same. But yeah, I found it really, really useful, both for myself and for my coaching business and my speaking business.
I would just add to that a fun psychiatric trick for your brain. EMDR is a therapy that they do for processing trauma, but they've also found, and it's in journal studies, that playing Tetris with an original OG console controller with the left and right gives you the same bilateral stimulation. If you pair that with that app and you go through your affirmations while you're playing, it would help a lot.
Wow.
With reinforcing that.
Krista, can you type the name of the app you just suggested?
She was talking about Think Up.
So
and pairing that with playing Tetris, like on a regular old console, whether you're playing with a Wii or PlayStation or whatever, but you have to play it with a controller. You can't do it on your phone because it doesn't give you the bilateral stimulation to your brain.
Interesting. Thank you for sharing that.
I'm a font of weird esoteric knowledge.
Could you put that in the chat too, please?
It'll disappear when we leave this breakout room.
Okay. I'll save it in the meantime, though.
Okay. Yeah.
I wonder if that Tetris hack would work as well if you were playing Tetris on, say, like a VR headset where you have two handheld controls going at the same time.
I imagine it would, because it's the physical, because you can do it with a light bar, but you can also do it with your eyes closed, just tapping your shoulders, alternating. So it's the physical, like your brain getting a signal from both sides of your body.
Interesting. Cool. Thanks.
Something else you guys might be interested in is I've been capturing conversations on my Zoom. It's called captions, and you open it if you have permission to open it, or you have it on your own. You open it, and then you can save it so that you can get all of the conversation when you're coaching, or whenever you have it in conversation with somebody.
Okay, one last question for everyone. What's your favorite affirmation? Do you guys want to type it out here?
Favorite what? Favorite app?
Favorite affirmation.
I don't think mine's safe for work.
Carrie, which one is yours?
I'm sorry.
What's your favorite affirmation? Which you like to use it every day? Yes.
I am enough, and I am moving at the rate that I'm supposed to be. Something like that.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Mine is I am divine soul. Any other questions?
All right. Hey, everybody. We are back in the lobby. I think everybody should be here now. It's time to go into session 3. Session 3 will end around 7:15. So either go to room 1 for work tools or room 2 for exercise and physical health.
Nupur, would you mind if I go first? My battery is about to die and I have to head out.
Sure, I'll do that.
Yeah.
I'll change the order.
Thanks so much.
All right, so welcome everyone. I think it starts at 6:50, but I'm just going to start introducing, right? The session 3 starts at 6:50, but this is room 2, exercise and physical health. And our first speaker is going to be Jillian Rock. How do you say your last name?
Yeah, you got it.
I got it. Okay, Jillian Pratt, and she'll be talking about flow. I use it. I love it.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. So hi everybody. I'm Jillian Parag. I'm first and foremost a Jamaican, very proud to be a Jamaican. I am a incoming master's student for technology commercialization at Macombs Business School, UT Austin, starting in a month. So yeah, and Flow is a very important app because we have all these period trackers, but Flow is more than that. What Flow has allowed me to do is embrace my full cycle of hormones as a woman and how that affects not just that period of a period, but more so all the different emotions and ups and downs in our energy levels that happen, and how that affects the way we work, how that affects if we want to interact with people at that time. And then that helps me to plan my exercises. It helps me to plan my work schedule. If I am in a certain phase of the month, maybe I don't schedule some kind of outgoing activity. And so it has allowed me to embrace my body as for what it is, instead of how having a period or being a woman was often put to us, where it's like, oh, my life stops for a week every month. And, this is a burden, but more so just embracing me. So I love Flow. I've been using it for many years. And I recently invested in a premium version. They have a deal that they'll run every seasonal holiday where you can get it for a year for about $15. So I think that's a really good investment. And not only is it a tracker, but it has educational content that they update weekly. And you can learn everything about, how to exercise well in your cycle, as well as eating and maintaining good relationships. So it's really a well-rounded app. Thank you.
Thank you, Julian. That was amazing. Thank you for sharing about Flow. And yeah, the premium one, I have never tried the premium one, so probably it's time to give it a shot. And our second speaker is, oh my God, Aditi, you're hiding behind.
Yeah, no, that's my avatar.
That's your avatar. All right, Aditi.
Yeah.
So without further ado, we are inviting Aditi and her avatar. My fitness pal. Aditi, floor is all yours.
Yes, so I did spend some time this morning and afternoon to, create a short and sweet presentation for you guys. And thank you for all the 7 people that I have today, and why the ChatGPT is at the same time as our speaking section. Anyway, moving on. So my fitness pal is something that I'm going to talk about. Introducing myself, my name is Aditi Abhang, and I'm the partner alliances manager working at HashiCorp. So I basically manage all the partnerships, the go-to-market strategy, and all partnership activities in general with HashiCorp. Moving on. So what is My Fitness Pal? So basically, this is how it looks when you go to your mobile app store or mobile, any store. First of all, it's a calories and meal tracker. You can simply measure your food, find and log your food in the application. It also has a large database of food items. You won't believe it. It has like around 14 million of food items already logged in its database. If there is a time like you don't find it in the database, you can even create your own recipes and track its calories by finding the ingredients, adding the portion of it, and creating a serving size of it. Well, next thing is you can also track your activities. It may be your workout routine, your cardio, and suppose you joined a new program and you have been given a routine. You can even add your own routine to it. Third thing is you can sync it with your other apps. For example, I'm using Fitbit watch and I log my steps and it gets synced to my Fitness Pal as well. So it automatically calculates the calories that I have burned during the day, during those steps, and let me know, hey, you have only 300 calories left for the day and all that stuff. And track your fitness journey is something that I've been tracking this since 2 months now. So this was one of my New Year resolution. I started my fat loss and weight loss journey, and I've been using and logging diligently and religiously every bit of calories in this app. And it also supports all online platform, your Android or iOS mobile or even desktops. So this is how it looks. So when you first install and open your app, My Fitness app, this is basically how it looks. I have taken this screenshot this afternoon. So I did a workout and for 1 hour, and the total was more than that, but it automatically balanced it out considering my number of steps. And this is a summary of the caloric remaining, like what was my goal, how much food did I eat since morning, and how much exercise that I did. So next thing is once you click on that summary, you'll get a snapshot of how many calories you burned, what percentage was went in the breakfast, in the lunch, and dinner. I'll have it tonight, and snacks. Likewise, it also shows you the nutrition, like how much protein I had today, carbs, fiber, sugar. So you get to micromanage every little bit of your nutrients. And macronutrients as well, carb, fat, and protein. You can keep a close track of how much percentage you're having every day. And next, how I log my food is we have these sections, breakfast, lunch, and dinner and snack. You simply click on add food and you get an option like this. Usually it shows your history, like what you had earlier. You can create your own meal, my meal. So I have my salad as a meal, my breakfast smoothie, green smoothie, and you can even create your own recipes in here as well. And if you don't find a food, you can simply create a food as well and add it to the 14 million other food items. Similarly, it goes for adding your exercise. You get option to add cardio, strength, and workout routine. Cardio, you have like many options. I haven't counted, but there are many options you can select for cardio options. And similarly for strength training, And this is something I have created for myself. This is a workout routine for hamstrings and calf. So supine, hamstring curl, Cossack squats, deadlift is something that I've been doing recently. And next thing is you can sync your steps and track your progress. You can see a graph of my weight loss since last 90 days, my steps count, and I think this screenshot got repeated. Sorry about that. You also get a paid version of
Aditi, we can't hear you anymore. Are you still speaking?
Poor, and I was like
Yes, I
rushing
can.
everything. I was rushing everything for the last 2-3 slide. If you want to get connected with me, this is my username for LinkedIn and for Instagram. So feel free to get connected. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Aditi, for sharing your journey with us. That was impressive that you shared your weight loss journey also in the slides.
Yeah, I was
People don't feel
transparent.
comfortable doing that. So very impressed to see it. Thank you for sharing. So can we connect your Apple Watch as well to this?
Yeah, absolutely. You can connect your Apple Watch as well.
Okay. All righty. And I'm going to move on to our next speaker, Jennifer Hickey. And I just want to say that I will be showing green at 3 minutes, yellow at 3.5, and red at 4 minutes. And you have 30 seconds to wrap up once you see red. I'm not sure if I told you earlier, but that's the whole traffic light signal.
Perfect. Perfect.
All right.
Sure.
Floor is all yours, Jen.
Yep. Hi, I'm Jen Hickey. I am a director in our state and local government group at Guidehouse in Austin. I've been coming to AWT on and off for the past couple of years, and it's very fun. And it's fun to interact with some commercial folks as well, since I'm typically with government people. Nice to meet y'all. So Strava, I originally was going to talk about Libby, but someone else claimed it first. If you know about Libby, it's great. Strava, very different from Libby, but helps me with my life just as much. I used to be, and I still kind of am, a pretty serious runner, but it helps track all sorts of activities. So walking, skiing, running, whatever you want to do. If it's outside and uses GPS, it'll help track it. And it's also a social connecting device. So I was very hesitant to get it at first because I didn't want everyone to know everything about all of my activities. But you can be selective on who you friend, which I am very selective on who I friend with this app because it also will include a map of your running. But it has gotten very smart about safety. So it'll hide your exact start and finish locations if you choose to do that. And then there's also a beacon feature. So you can, there's some safety features that you can activate as well. It tracks your miles if you're into tracking your miles over a week, over a year. It'll show you your progress. It'll show you your lap segments. If you don't have a GPS watch or a GPS device, if you run with your phone, you can track yourself that way. It's really fun. When I was really into running and super serious about it, it was really helpful in helping me track my miles every week. Now that I'm not so serious, it's helpful for me to keep up with my friends that are still very serious in running. You can name your workouts, right? So you can like have fun with it. It's great. It's been a fun way to keep social about it and motivate yourself if you need a little bit of motivation to get moving. So that is Strava. Like I said, short and sweet. There is a paid and a non-paid version of it. I've used it for years without paying for it. I think some of the paid version features include being able to set your goals and some other things more specific, but the unpaid version gives you lots of great options too. So check it out. And that is me. Nice to meet y'all.
All righty. Thank you so much. That was very nice, short, crisp, sweet. Thank you for sharing that. All right. We're going to go to our next speaker and I'm going to need help. Here's a reminder. My Alexa. All right. So, Miss Holt, are you going to help me say your first name? Here's a reminder. That's why I was muting that time. I know it's going to still tell me again if I don't cancel it. How do you say it? Nefertiti. Nefertiti. Did I say it correctly?
Yes,
All
or
right,
you can say
awesome.
Neffy, that's easy.
Okay, yeah, Neffy. Okay. And you're going to talk about Apple Health.
Correct. Yes, like the goddess.
Awesome. All right, floor is yours.
Alrighty, so again, my name is Nefertiti, and you let me know if you can see my screen. I don't use Zoom very often, but can you see my screen?
Bam.
All right, perfect, because Zoom is so different than Teams, and I use Teams, I live on Teams. But okay, my name is Nefertiti Holt, and I am the head of D&I for Easy Corp for global. So I'm over Latin America and the US. I live by the Apple, this Apple Health app. And is that what you guys can see on the screen? Because I can't see. All right, perfect. So I love this. And as you see in here, it collects over 500 different kinds of health data in 17 different categories. So it's like abundant on things that you can get. It's already on your Apple phone. So all the Android users, I am so sorry. This is really about Apple. And I know I'm totally biased on it. However, you don't have to download anything. It's already there. The great news is that it collaborates with other apps. So you can have other apps that feeds information into this app, which is also very cool. So I want to talk to you guys about this 6 things. So I did not do this presentation. It's all on the internet. So I'm not taking credit for it, but it's really great information. So it gives you a snapshot of our health, right? A lot of times I know for me, I'm constantly moving and grooving and I don't even realize that I didn't stand up for a certain amount of time. I'm not breathing. If I get nervous, I can see my beats per minute go up. Like, if I have to speak, I'm like, oh man, I didn't even realize I was nervous, but I went from a sitting of 75 to 89. So now I'm like, okay, now that I'm getting older, I'm getting these nudges. I go, okay, take a deep breath. Emotions are energy, take it out, right? And all that other jazz. So it shows up on your summary this way to where you see, okay, I haven't moved very much today. I'm only at 155 calories. I only did 6 minutes. And that's been all day because I've been standing up for 8 hours and I didn't do anything, right? So typically you don't even realize it until you look at that. So that's helped me a whole lot with moving because I just didn't realize I wasn't moving. I'm thinking I'm active because I've been up for 8 hours. It will even give you your blood glucose. Everyone has different health situations, but this will help you where your glucose is. That's so important. Carbohydrates. So you want to know how many carbs you're taking in, your insulin, your sleep, which is so important. Most people don't think, oh, I can sleep off of 4 or 5. I'm like, no, I'm on the back end of millennial. I need my 8 hours of sleep. So this tracks it for me. And then if you get a certain type of thing, it's an algorithm you can put in, it can tell you your REM of sleep. So how deep you're sleeping. Are you sleeping very lightly? You can't sleep for 9 or 10 hours and actually not get deep sleep. Then it gives you all kind of other data, like your walking symmetry. So like how many times is your feet like, the same? I didn't even think about that to before. And I'm like, if you're off balance, it could be something wrong with you, right? That you don't know, but this will give you a heads up. How much caffeine, you can put that data in, vitamin D, which helps drive a lot of other health things for you. And I just love the way it does a summary. And you can also do your nutrients. So again, it feeds into other apps, what you eat and all the grams and milligrams and all that jazz. And it captures your trends, right? We can have one bad day, but it doesn't mean everything's terrible, but it can tell you, okay, what is your average? And obviously we want to go by your average, your beats per minute. It tracks them on a diagram and graphs, give you your trends. It can alert you of interesting stuff. So how long have you stood up? You really should stand up for 12 hours a day. We don't realize it. How much water we drink. A lot of times we don't drink water. It tells you about how much you breathe, right? A lot of times you're sitting there and you're holding your breath, and that's how you get inflammation in your body. And then last but not least, you want to make sure that you're thinking through these things, you input this data in it, and it actually tracks it so you can actually give it to your health provider. So if you have something going on like Flow, that app that we were on earlier, it actually feeds into this and you can go, okay, I'm having irregular periods. You can pull this up for your doctor. If you ever have a medical emergency, you can put your emergency contacts in there. If something happens, they can get to that and call people as well. So there's just an endless amount of things that you can do with this app. And I encourage you, if you do have an Apple phone and you are interested in navigating through this health data app, to get the Apple Watch to accompany it, because there's haptics on it and it will tell you, hey, Neff, it's been an hour, stand up. And you stand up and move, do your jumping jacks and you sit back down. Or it will tell you, your blood pressure is higher than it's supposed to be. It will tell you that you didn't get your rest. So, I love this because things that we don't think about, this is put you right in your face. And at the end of the day, we want to be accountable for our health and our well-being, our mind, our heart, and our overall well-being. And I'm Nefertiti Hope. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much, Deputy. That was full of energy. And my most favorite statement you said is emotions and energy. I'm going to remember that.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to move on to our next speaker. That's Michelle Matos Imbert.
Imbert, yeah.
Imbert, okay.
You got it.
All right, and you'll be talking about my flow. All right, floor is yours. 3 green, 3:30 yellow, and red at 4 minutes. All right.
Okay, great. So I'm going to share my screen. So hi everyone, just a quick intro. My name is Michelle Matos Imbert. I work as a technical support engineer for a company called Global, but on the side, I am actually an embodiment and tantra teacher and coach. So one of the things that I'm always very interested in is how can we have a better life as women, especially. So I bumped into my flow first by its book. So I do want to slide down to show you. I'll get to the app in a moment. But this is the founder of the app. Her name is Elisa Vitti, and she started everything with a book. Her studies in Eastern medicine, and also she's a gynecologist, led her to understand that women, firstly, we operate in 2 types of cycles. We have a 24-hour cycle, and we also have a 28, 30-day cycle. So the thing with that is that we can either focus on one cycle or focus on both so that we can be more healthy and productive. So this app is really oriented towards how can we keep our wellness on that 28, 30-day cycle. So going back up to the actual app, one of the things that I really enjoy about it is that it'll go through every phase of the cycle. So it doesn't just focus on, okay, when did I get my period, or what kind of symptoms have I had? It really educates women on how each phase works. So as you can see here in this image, it shows all 4 phases of the cycle. So follicular, ovulation, luteal, and menstrual. And it'll explain for each what's happening with our hormones, what's the focus that we should be having, let's say for work or things that we're doing. It also gives suggestions on exercises that are more productive and helpful for that particular cycle, which foods would be more helpful so that all of that hormone processing happens in the best way. And finally, how does that look like in our love or even friendship relationships? So it gives suggestions on like, well, maybe you need some time alone, or this is a great week to be with others and interact and be social. And it's very informative. The other cool thing is that all of this is in the free version. So it gives you a lot of access to information. So the other thing that I enjoy about this is that it will let you do a partner sync. What that means is that whenever you are in a particular phase, it will send an email to your partner saying exactly what you need during that week. So that way, this person doesn't have to be guessing like, oh my gosh, is she mad at me because she's in her menstrual cycle? Or is she happy because she's ovulating? So someone doesn't have to like wonder what's happening. It just sends out an email to that person and it just informs them what you are going through during that phase of your cycle. And then, of course, like any other menstrual cycle app, it will have the tracking of the period and the symptoms, and also some suggestions on how to address certain symptoms, monitor cycle health. And if you want to sync any activities, you can just do that with your calendar. It'll easily do that for you. So what I recommend is using the app, but also reading the book. It's called In the Flow because it gives more of the statistics and the why and the how the app works. And that is it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Michelle. I really enjoyed the partner part that you can just inform other person. Don't mess with me.
Absolutely.
All right, we have a couple of minutes, I guess, we finish in time. So we can use this time to network, get to know each other. I saw that Nefi shared her LinkedIn on the chat. If you all want to share your LinkedIn as well.
Perfect. And thank you so much for that, Michelle, because I just track mine on my calendar. Obviously, I'm not getting any information back. So with yours, I can input information and get some feedback, especially as we get older and our bodies change. I think my mom told me the other day, she goes, the reason why you feel everything as you get older is because you know yourself better. And I go, well, I don't want to know her then. I want to be a stranger to her because I can feel everything, right? But it's, knowledge is power. So I think that this was my call, like, go ahead and download this app and then you can regulate it. And then like we talked about in my presentation, we can go ahead and get that information to the doctor if need be, if anything is weird or off, because an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Yeah. So true.
Totally agree. Even for my parents, I think that I got my dad an Apple Watch is because so I can keep track of, and you can become friends with your family and get to know what's happening.
And you can compete, which actually competitive stuff is really good, because like if my sisters and my friends are on it and I've done nothing, I'm like, oh man, let me get up. And so, because I'm like A-type, I'm sure that's a shocker to you guys. And and I want to compete and I want to win. So for me, it's like when they say, let's go ahead and compete, I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna have a long week. But I feel better though afterwards, right? It takes the effort, but I feel better. I'm not a runner, but I can try. So Jen, I'm working on that too.
Hey, great. Standing is great. I love walking.
I know. When I work from home, I'm still wearing my Apple Watch now because I was just sitting on the chair 8 hours, 9 hours a day and not getting up. And ruined my back. So I was like, no, I need to get this watch, and I'm following all your apps now.
Yeah.
To keep track of it when I'm standing up, how my health is. So, thank you so much for sharing.
We had a family friend who went and got his heart checked out recently because his Apple Watch alerted him that he had irregular heart activity.
Wow.
It does the EKG too. So, and he's so he was like, well, shit. So he like scheduled a scan, went and got it checked out. So kind of cool.
Was it so cool? Like, was it a false alarm or was it a true alarm?
I don't know. This was pre-appointment, me hearing the story. So, but he also, it's kind of interesting to know, it took 3 weeks to get an appointment in Austin for a heart scan. So he booked one in Marble Falls so he could get it sooner. But I don't think, I probably wasn't a false alarm, just knowing age and health.
Okay. Yeah, I got the same one for my dad because my dad is a heart patient. But yeah, one time it told me like my heartbeat was also very high, even though I was not active. So even I got nervous. I was like, am I dying? Yeah. So that's why I was like, is it a real alarm or false alarm? That's also I want to know.
Yeah.
I think if it's consistent, it's probably a real alarm. But I mean, to anything, there's going to be some deviations that are normal.
Yeah. And some people have like, they're more apt to anxiety, or heart palpitations. And they've lived with that longer and they're just at the point where they're managing it. Some people are being introduced to it. And so there's a lot of different health elements that go along with this wonderful heart that keeps us going, the engine of our body.
True. All right, ladies, thank you for sharing such a wonderful thing.
Sorry, Newport.
Jen, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you.
Did you say you were at Easy Court?
Hello,
Yes.
We have 1 minute left.
My like the pawn shop.
Yep.
Yeah, my dad worked there, like when it was very, very new to the world. So it's so funny to hear that name again. Like
that is so cool.
He did a lot of like real estate locating new stores.
So he knows Lucy Hernandez because she's been there for 30 years.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure he does. Yeah, Paul Seymour is his name, but
I know who Paul is. Yeah, I've heard his name before.
Okay, so I remember like going and looking at random strip center real estate when I was little because he was like, this is a great place.
That is so cool. Small world. Nice to meet you.
You too.
All right. Bye, everyone. See you in the main room.
Bye. See you on the next side.
I'm going to share my screen. So I have ADHD, so I tend to talk quickly, but I also have 2 things to talk about. So hopefully we average out. I'm going to talk about 2 apps. They're web apps. You'll use them on your desktop, Franz and Reclaim. I picked both of these because They are good for both people that are just endlessly busy with multiple calendars and chat programs to merge, and also for people who are neurodiverse like myself, because object permanence is hard. Let's see. So who would benefit from these apps? Again, neurodiverse people. Object permanence, like I make jokes about it, but it is really hard. If something disappears from my tabs in my Chrome, I will forget about it. And having to go back in and go to my history and find the things, and if it was like 3 days ago, it's, yeah, give up the ghost. And people that are overwhelmed. I technically have 4 jobs right now. 2 of them pay, 2 don't. So if you're doing consulting, or if you are working between, a family calendar and things like that, both of these apps are really good to kind of help wrangle your life, and so you don't miss important things. So Franz is actually a web app that was developed by a Austrian company. I've had it for 3 years. They have pricing options ranging from $0 to $5.99 a month for unlimited services. I'm showing you the most tame and not non-disclosure agreement allowable screen. As an example, this is Discord for a gaming server I'm on. But what you see, if you can see my cursor, within the Discord window, I can still see all of my different servers I can access. It is just like using the Discord app itself or using the web browser. But also on the left-hand side, you see parked all my different Slack instances. So for one of my clients, we actually have 2 different workspaces. And if you're familiar with having that in Slack, you actually have to go into, say, where it says Rainbow Unicorn Games here, click down to switch workspaces. You're going to miss notifications in different ones. If you're working with multiple clients and you have multiple different workspaces, you're going to drop the ball somewhere. Yeah, Riot. Woo! So I actually technically have, I think 6 Slacks that I have to monitor. So this helps me because it gives me my notification badges here on the left-hand side. And if I really need to heads down work, I can actually right click and disable it and come back to it when I'm ready to see notifications again, to have that ping and that hit of dopamine, but I don't forget that it exists because it just grays out. One of the other things I love about it that you'll see here is that I can also merge in my Facebook Messenger, my LinkedIn messaging, my Android messages, so I don't have to look at my phone during the day. My phone can stay down and not be distracting me, and I can keep the silence on. One of the things you'll see here is that they have over 70 different integrations, and if you pay for the $5.99 a month, you can actually even create your own custom. What's really good about it from a security standpoint is that it's logging in, just like it's a web browser. It's not holding on to your credentials. It's not a security risk. InfoSec even approved it at Riot, if you can believe it. They don't approve anything. You can also, if you're paying for the high tier one, have the notion of workspaces so that you have different drawers you can pull out. This is my work drawer versus my gaming drawer. I don't want to see my work Slack when I'm gaming. I just want to see all the things I'm gaming on. So that is a really nice feature as well. This right-hand picture here is one of my favorite things. I actually have 3 monitors set up. I have my, my Zoom calls over here on the right. I have my Franz permanently parked on the left so that those notifications are so far in my periphery, they're not popping up all the time in front of my workspace, where if it was down in my bar at the bottom here, I would see the notifications going off and I couldn't help myself but check it, just like your email. You can also park email in Franz, which is a wonderful thing. And I will put the links in the chat, and there's going to be a recap email that goes out after this that I'll send you guys the links for as well. So the second tool is Reclaim. Reclaim is a wonderful thing. You can actually do a free version of this as well for up to 2 calendars to be synced. So if you have your own personal calendar, your work calendar, or a family calendar that you need to roll in so that things don't get booked over each other, this actually syncs them all together. Now, it is primarily built for Google integration, but it can be used with Outlook as well. And both of these apps actually work across Windows platform, Linux, and iOS. So it's available. It's just not a mobile version. But what I love about this is I literally can change and interact how I want these calendars to look. So my personal calendar when it goes out to my work calendars, doesn't show any details, but my work calendars merged back into my personal calendars. It shows me all the details. So if I happen to have my personal calendar up on my phone, I don't have to switch between accounts, so I can see everything at once and I'm not late to any of my client meetings. It also merges everything so that my clients don't try and book me thinking I'm free and I'm not. Some of the other really great features though, besides this, like this is enough to spend the $650 on a month. They also have the notion of building habits. So they have a tasking function too that'll integrate with your Google Notes, your to-dos that you can have with that, or within your Gmail, where you can task out a task, and they'll actually book time in your calendar to do that task until you mark it complete. So it actually blocks time for you if you want to choose that option. But they also have these things for building habits. You can turn on settings to add 15 minutes automatically after meetings so that you can have decompression time, so that you can write down your notes and send meeting minutes, which is fantastic. But you can take a walk. Oh, shoot, you never eat lunch because you never make time for yourself. This starts auto booking it and you can move it around to where it's effective for that day, but you at least still have that time blocked. And then my favorite feature, they just came out with this. They're trying to take on and be competition for Calendly. This is actually a scheduling link that I can give out to my clients when they want to book time with me, and they can see where I'm free, how much time they want to schedule with me, and it automatically links Zoom to it. My calendar is set up to automatically accept those invitations, and I don't have to play schedule tag. And they are super integrated, so you can actually have your tasks in Trello or Jira. If they're assigned to you with a start date and an estimation time, it'll block time on your calendar to work on those things, and then you mark them done, and it'll go back to the main thing and mark it done and move it in the new status, which is life-saving because I forget that all the time. And if you would love to connect with me, go ahead and take a picture of the QR code. And it was wonderful sharing this with you today.
Okay, I have to say you are exceptionally organized for somebody with
Do you know how much time it takes to do that? And I
knowing your
cannot find
children.
my share screen button. Hang on a second. So sorry.
No, you're fine. It's just gorgeous. I could look at that picture all day. Okay, now I love it. That's so helpful. I was mentioning in another session how I have all these different accounts, different calendars. And I mean, yeah, if I could get all my alerts just focused, that would be fantastic. I'm into it. Okay, next, let's hear about Screencast-O-Matic. And is it Ojugo?
Yes, good evening, everyone. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be in the group. I've been listening in and it's been so amazing. All the tools, you know, that we could all use and make our lives better. So for Screencast-O-Matic is a free video screen recording tool. Let me see. I think they changed their name recently to, just a moment, let me get there. They changed their name to ScreenPal, you know, just very recently. So let me try to go there. I hope we can see my screen. Even though I don't have a presentation, you know, but once you go into Screencast-O-Matic, you could use it to record your screens. You could use it to record your face. You could use it with your screen and yourself, you know, and it has, so that is it. Those are the buttons. You could launch a recorder, record yourself, just like you would on Zoom. But I love one beautiful thing about it. It has a yellow halo, you know, that your students could follow, you know, especially with online learning, because a lot of people lose focus when they are learning online, you know, so that yellow halo, very interesting. For instance, if I could play this, you would see what I mean. So it's taking a while. But then the yellow halo, if we could see it, is somewhere hidden in there. and you could use it to run through your slides, and things like that. It makes the learning experience more engaging, for the person. So we said you could capture your face, just like Loom, you could capture your face, capture your screen, capture both. And then you could trim your recordings, so if you made an error while recording, you could actually go back to the spot and use the scissors tool to cut it off, so that you're not re-recording the whole thing, all over again. And I like the ease of use. There are so many use cases for this. You could use it to make frequently asked questions, make short videos that answer questions for your customers, so that it's actually easy for them to, visually see what the answers are. If you make software, it's also really good. Sorry, I didn't know my video was off. I'm so sorry. So if you're making frequently asked questions, it helps your customer to easily find, answers to what they're looking for. If you have software or an app, you can also demo the software or app and send it in an email or Google Drive, to someone. I think it integrates with so many things. You could integrate with social media, Google Drive, and so on. And of course, you could script your videos, so that you could have your captions well written out. So I think it's a very valuable tool. If you're an online course producer, for instance, a coach, the use cases are endless. A software designer or owner, product owner, you could actually use it and get more engagement, with your clients or potential clients. So that's it from me. Thank you, Nicole. Questions, maybe in the question.
Yes, that was wonderful. If anybody has questions, please put them in the chat and our speakers can answer them in the chat, so we don't use the time that our other speakers need. But if there's time at the end, then we can have a bit of a discussion, which would be great. I think we have a similar app, maybe StreamYard. Thea, did you want to speak about that?
Yes, I think I need the screen share to be.
Okay.
If you just stop sharing, please.
Hi, everybody. I'm Thea Wood with Horizon Music Foundation. We are a nonprofit that supports women in music through education, work experience, and role modeling programs. And interestingly enough, a lot of what we do is broadcasting. And so we're tiny. We have very few resources as an organization. And I came across StreamYard. Let me pull this up real quick. I fell in love with StreamYard and actually ditched Zoom and Zencaster for this particular app for a number of reasons. Number one, I'm showing you what it's like to be in the StreamYard studio, if you will. And this is a web-based product, but as a guest speaker, I've actually used it on my cell phone and it's worked really well. But in particular, this would be what it looks like to be in a studio. And underneath here, and I can't use them because there's only me in the room, but there are a variety of different layouts that you can switch between when you have guests appearing. And I think it's up to 10 guests. And what you can do is also toward the top, you can schedule your show times. It will do a countdown for you on your show times, and you can live stream your broadcast to a number of your social medias. They're not compatible with all of them, but they are with the major ones, so that you can hit go live and immediately start live streaming. So that's number one. It's super easy to connect all of your accounts. It's really easy to set up a room. Check this out. Right now I'm live on the screen, but let's say there's multiple people. I can remove myself and the other person, I can add the person back on, and then I can add myself back in again. So it's super easy to change the perspective for your audience members. And again, this is more about broadcasting and having special guests versus Zoom. It's more like group discussion, right? The other thing that I love about it is that The comments can all be aggregated into this side area, and you can view them and answer them during the live performance. Also, you can create banners. So Thea would host. I can also, let's see here. I can also create a ticker. Can you see the ticker? And I can hide that. I can do a still banner. So there's all kinds of fun things that you can do to make it look more professional, including moving here to the branding. So I have my, right now I have my podcast logo up there, which I use this to, you say, oh, but podcast doesn't have video. Well, our YouTube channel does, and this goes straight to the YouTube channel. But then, and this is my favorite part about it, is I can then, let me move to the other, sorry, all my people are in the way. Got to move this down. If you look at the showcase, so when it kind of see it in action, I turned off the volume on this, but you can kind of see how everything is working, right? And again, the perspectives can change. I can take people in and out of the room, and then you've got chat at play over here. And this all automatically uploads to my YouTube channel in the live section. Now, what I was going to say about the podcasting is that one of my favorite things on this is that it will record the live video. It will record the full audio as a separate track. And then it will also record every individual's audio separately. And this is huge for podcasting, because then you can dump it into an editor tool such as GarageBand, which is what I use, and you can actually edit everybody's audio tracks separately, and it sounds really clean and really nice. Maybe I laugh inappropriately over something that somebody's saying and you can't hear what they're saying. Great, I can remove my laughter and their dialogue remains unedited. So it's a super sharp tool. I love it. It has 3 different package levels that you can choose from. And if you are hosting seminars, podcasts, webinars, and teaching anything, boy, I think this is the way to go. So I just wanted to say, StreamYard, if you have any questions, let me know. I am not 100% an expert, but I definitely enjoy using it and can give some tips and tricks for daily use.
Thank you so much. That looked amazing. I might be calling you later to help AWT with some of our needs for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if Laura, one of our social media people, is on here. But yeah, I definitely want to connect you too, because I think we could use this tool in very many ways. Okay, but last but not least, I would like to introduce Tanvi to talk about ChatGPT. Everybody's dying to hear about it.
Howdy, everyone. So, artificial intelligence is the ultimate force multiplier, and ChatGPT, Chat Generative Predefined Trainer, has hit the elbow of the curve. Well, hi, my name is Tanvi. I'm a certified product manager and ChatGPT enthusiast. Well, ChatGPT is a chatbot driven by artificial intelligence and is based on a very super powerful technology, natural language processing. And ChatGPT can generate ideas for you. It can write a code, and it can even help you to write creative content. But there are a couple of things that ChatGPT can't do. First, it doesn't have human intelligence or human logic. It lacks consciousness. And next, it cannot do the work for you. So you need to use ChatGPT as a reliable partner. Well, whenever I talk about ChatGPT in my network, there is a very common question that comes. Can artificial intelligence or powerful tools like ChatGPT can replace my job? Well, my answer is no. AI cannot replace you, but the people who know how to use AI will. Well, change is inevitable, and this is the very beginning of an aggressive and fast-moving revolution.
And so whosoever will learn and adapt fast will win. So there are 3 tips that I want to share. First, reframe your thinking. We need to see these powerful AI tools like ChatGPT as a phenomenal tool. Second, figure out how artificial intelligence is going to disrupt us. You need to identify the vulnerabilities. And third, identify all the artificial intelligence tools that are relevant to you and your domain. Well, enough said. I would like to share my screen and show you the live demo of ChatGPT. Okay. I hope you all can see my screen. So the trick to get what you want from ChatGPT is to ask the right questions. You need to give the right prompts. So let's say you're free for the weekend and you want to know some cool places to go around Austin. So you can ask ChatGPT simply that you act as a travel guide and tell me some nice cities around Austin, which has some nice breweries, scenic views, and I can visit there over the weekend. Let's see what it says. Okay, the answers are coming up. So this is the difference between Google and ChatGPT, that you can write personalized questions to it and it can answer based on all the data that it has been trained on and provide you with the required answer. So these are the places it tells me that San Antonio, Wimberley, and Fredericksburg are these places that I can visit over the weekend. And these places even meet the choices that I asked it to have nice views and breweries. And another example I would like to share is that I want ChatGPT to act as a dietitian. Since I'm an Indian, I want to have a diet plan which has Indian food items in it. And I tell the ChatGPT that I want to lose 5 kgs in next 3 weeks and I don't like leafy vegetables much. So it can provide me a personalized diet plan and I do not have to go out or seek have to actually meet a professional for a very simple task like this. So you can see how powerful it is based on my requirements. It can build and create this customized diet plan for me where it is telling me that I can eat these particular food items in my breakfast, snack, lunch. So it's telling me this mid-morning and afternoon snack because I said I like to eat very often. And these are a few tips. And if I want to change something in it, like maybe I don't like bell peppers and carrot, I can tell that I don't want this. Can you make me a new diet plan? And it will do. So this is the power of ChatGPT. And recently, along with ChatGPT, I have come across a few other very useful AI tools like ToMe.ai. So no matter what profession we are in, we all have been in a place where we want to create some cool, innovative presentations. So ToMe.ai is here. This is an AI-powered presentation builder, and you just have to simply go to ToMe.ai and create an account and simply write create. Let's see. So I am giving it this prompt. Here also you can see that this is very similar. Again, this is very similar to ChatGPT. All I need to do is give it a prompt here. Let's say I tell it that make me a presentation on good habits for a healthy mindset and just simply click. It's creating the presentation and it will automatically come up with a couple of slides. This is the welcome slide, mindset makeover. And now it's creating introduction, practice mindfulness. You can see here that it's creating different pages for it. And now my presentation is created. Okay, cool. Let's scroll to it.
So this is the intro page it has created for me. And these are the subheadings for it: introduction, practice mindfulness, stay active, get enough sleep. And all these slides are made in a few seconds. Now we can customize it based on our
Hello,
needs,
we
but you
have
can see
1
how
minute
powerful
left.
it is. Okay. And it has different options to customize this. Well, what I want to tell and everyone to leave with is that this is the very beginning of a fast moving revolution. And the faster we adapt and learn, the faster we move towards our success. So, yeah. Thank you,
Thank you
everyone.
so much. That was amazing. So yes, Heather, when you get that something went wrong, a lot of that has to do with just being used by too many people at one time, and you have to come back at another time.
What was the name of that second one?
That's dome.ai. And now I'll be sharing a doc in the chat, which has all the links to other AI tools as well, along with this one. So you can check it out.
Okay.
All right, so we put it in the chat, tome.ai. All right, thank you, everyone. Welcome back to the lobby. All of our speakers did such an excellent job. Oh, sorry, Tomi.app, not Tomi.ai, sorry. You guys, so much to get through in such short amount of time, and everyone stayed on task, everyone stayed on target, everyone did a great job asking questions. I hope you had as good of a time as I did, because I learned so much, it's unbelievable. But there's going to be lots more to learn. There's lots of stuff coming up. Upcoming events, happy hour at Kitty Cohen's. This is for our members. If you guys are not a member yet, I highly encourage you to become a member so you can come and hang out with us. We did a survey last year, and one of the main reasons people are joining organizations like AWT is about friendships and camaraderie and support networks, much more than just about anything else. Like I love all the learning events. I love all this stuff too, but sometimes we just need to set aside time for, meeting people who support us. And so we're going to start doing some happy hours where we just give you more time to get to know one another. And then Initech is coming up in May 3rd. That's going to be a huge day, so much learning, so many amazing things to learn, great speakers, and also a big membership drive there as well. And then after that, in June, we are having a workshop about using improv for better networking. So we do have an improv company coming to teach us some tips and tricks. It'll be really fun, kind of on your feet, do something a little bit different, get out of your chair. I know if you're like me, you're stuck behind a computer all day long. So this will be a fun way to get up and move around and learn. And just go to our website, AWT website, to become a member, learn about these events, register for these events, and find out anything else you want to know. And after that, I'm going to kick it over to Heather.
Yes, and before everyone hops off, can we stop sharing so we can get a big view of everyone so we can take a photo? Would love to do a giant screen share. Okay, so on the count of 3, everyone smile, and then Leslie is gonna print screen. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Love it. Okay, we love it.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if we need the screen up for this one, because one of the things we want to talk about is that people join AWT for different reasons. So again, just to highlight it a little bit, we are an organization, we've been around for 20 years, we're a 501c3 nonprofit, but we are here to empower women in representation in the STEM space. So connect, grow, learn, and lead are our 4 core values. And we want to make sure you get a little bit of that at each of our events. So like Nicole mentioned, we do around 12 events a year, most in person, some virtual like tonight. So definitely a lot to have. We have a Slack channel, like some people were asking for in the chat. That is a members only resource. There's job postings in there, there's content, there's free conferences, there's free certifications, there's just applauding, shouting people out, etc. There's so much amazing things that go on in the Slack. But we know another thing that people come to AWT for is because they're looking for a job or they're hiring. That's why we have a lot of our sponsors that come here. So we definitely want to make sure we tap into that connection portion of our core value and figure out who is looking for a job that we can connect real time, whether it's in a Slack message, you share information here now. So want to highlight people that are looking for jobs. Anyone want to unmute, talk about yourself, but I also encourage you to drop your LinkedIn in the chat so that we can put that in the Slack channel as well. But who wants to talk about what they're looking for? Tomby, Lindsay, I see some hands.
Yeah, I got connected to y'all through Dominique Burkett. I used to work with her, and she said this group changed her life, and so she got me into this little networking and this event today. So I am actually 29 weeks pregnant and also in the job market. So was recently laid off and am looking for work before maternity hits in early June. And just a kind of quick synopsis about me, I really am passionate about leading customer experiences and helping organizations build products and processes and services that create greater impact for their customers. So really bridging that gap between customers and product and technology, as well as helping organizations scale. So I come from startup world, so a lot of kind of scaling and building foundations is in my background as well. So I'll drop my LinkedIn in the chat.
Anvi?
Yeah, well, hi everyone. So currently I'm a graduate student at Texas A&M University, and soon I'll be gonna graduate in May 23. And so I'm a certified product manager with almost 5 years of experiences in business analytics and data science field. I am actively looking for interesting job opportunities. If you're looking for a data enthusiast, ping me, connect with me, and I'll be glad to help you find some data-driven, very insightful stories. So yeah, hoping to connect with you all. Thank you.
Okay, and we do have some people posting jobs in the chat, so don't hesitate to look in there. National Domestic Violence Hotline, Texas CIO, lots of things coming through. Okay. Anybody else want to chime in before we move on?
Hi everyone, my name is Misha. We're actually part of Think Latitude, which is a tech startup for entrepreneurs. I mentioned in the chat, but we're looking at commission-based sales reps currently. So if anyone has a sales background to help us, we're currently in the process of hiring. Also, this was great. I really enjoyed this event. I'm actually in Tulsa, but do have an expansion there in Austin. So Nicole, thank you so much for this opportunity out here from Oklahoma. But we also develop mobile apps. I didn't mention that before, but that is why I love to be a part of this. I love everything mobile app development, software development. So if anyone has an app idea, we heard some great apps, but if anyone wants to get into entrepreneurship, connect with me. I put my LinkedIn and my email in there so you can connect with me on both fronts, whether you need a job or potentially you're looking into entrepreneurship. So thank you so much, ladies.
Awesome. All right. Do you want to put that presentation back up, Elsie?
Yes, and keep them going in the chat. We will download this after and we'll post it in Slack so that we have it real time. And then we'll also make a viewable Excel document and then send it out in our recap email as well so that you can see the job postings as well as those looking. So yes, please write them all and put them in the chat. But yes, Taryn is our membership director. Her email is on here, membership@awtaustin.org. Definitely follow us on social media as well. We are on Instagram, we are on TikTok, we are on Facebook, and we are on LinkedIn. So definitely follow those avenues to stay connected. If you are getting an error with Slack, I will see what we can do to help get you there. But if you want to email Taryn at that membership@awtaustin.org, we can hopefully get you on there. But Aditi, I saw your messages. I'm gonna try to resolve while we're on here live time. But yes, again, hope to see everyone at our April event. Like we talked about, we will probably be doing some more members only events because we're about 575 members now. And it's been amazing with our growth. So we're going to be doing a lot more members only events like our April happy hour. So please come to that as well. We are also going to be kicking off a members only mentorship program and some things like that. So definitely a lot more capabilities that will be coming out of that membership there. So let us know if you have any questions, but thank you all tonight for coming.
Thank you, Heather. All right, we have like a few minutes. We're supposed to end at around 7:30. Are there any last minute questions that we have for our speakers or for me or for Heather? Everyone just ready to get some dinner and get their night going? All right, well, I will put together a Google Sheet so we can collect all the correct information from all of our speakers tonight and get links to all of the apps that were discussed. And so look forward to a recap email with all that information. All right, thanks you guys very much.
Have a good day.
Too.